Thus, shining armor, all you have to do is relax, she said, her voice turning soothing and calm, like a lullaby whispered by a mother. Listen to the sound of my voice. Focus on nothing else. Just listen to my words. Let them slip into your ears and roll down your body until they reach their hooves. Yes, feel my words rolling down to your hooves, then back up to your spine. Breathe deep and slowly. Match the pace of the flowing words. Down and up, out and in. Yes, breathe deeply and listen to the sound of my voice. You wish to sleep, to dream. Listen to my words, and know that when you sleep, that when you dream, you will be in control. Your dreams shall be lucid, for that is the first step in this journey. Yes, just listen to the sound of my voice. Breathe in and out. Feel the words rolling down and up your body. Yes, feel your eyes growing heavy. Feel yourself wishing to dream, for you must enter the dreamscape the only way a normal pony can. Yes, listen to my voice and sleep. She tapped her forehead against his forehead. Listen to my voice. Let yourself dream. Let me guide you from now. Shining stood no chance against Luna's words and the subtle magic in her voice. His eyes drooped, then slid shut. The world fell away, growing dark as his consciousness slipped into a dream. It felt like he was sinking in water, descending slowly, but he was able to breathe without issue. Ground eventually came out to meet him, a soft patch of grass that grew larger as he got closer. Like it was rising from the blackness around him, his dream took shape. He saw blue skies and clouds. He saw familiar faces and structures. He saw the Crystal Empire, shining in all its glory as his host touched down the path. He was at the city's gate, the crystal spires that stood to greet any travelers coming from the train station, and to bid farewell to any ponies heading out along the same path. Am I really dreaming? Shining couldn't help but ask. The ground felt so real beneath his hooves. The air smelled of flowers that were in bloom of the crystal berries. It was all so perfect. Yes, you are, Kate said as she came out from behind a tree. Yet at the same time, Kate's appearance was shifting. The pinks, purples, and yellows of her mane and coat were being replaced with rich blues. Her body shifted in build as some of the subtle nuances of her face changed. By the time she had reached the place on the path where Shining Armor was standing, Cadence had turned into Princess Luna. And now that you are in the dreamscape, Luna continued, as she turned to face the welcoming gate of the Crystal Empire, I shall bridge your dream with Nix's, so that you may enter her nightmare and try to claim it. And how do I do that? Luna flared her wings, and her horn glowed as she focused her gaze on the arts. That, Shining Armor, is something you would have to figure out for yourself. She then unleashed her magic, an aura of blue energy shooting from her horn to the keystone of the gemstone archway. The gems began to resonate with light, and with a blinding flash, a set of great white doors appeared on the archway. The doors swung open upon their own accord, opening up to a black expanse. A chilly wind blew into this dreamscape from the far side of the door, carrying with it a few trace snowflakes that quickly melted against the ground of Shining's dreamscape. Luna stepped to the side and looked back to Shining. This way is open, she said before extending a wing. I can do nothing more. Shining swallowed nervously and began to take slow, cautious steps toward the door. This was starting to seem like a very bad idea, like the time he had snuck up behind Cadence whilst he was reading a very scary story. He came right up to the edge, his forehoofs less than an inch away from the realm that was Nyx's dream. He then stood on the edge for several seconds, then staring at where the path of the Crystal Empire suddenly changed to the snow that blanketed the ground beyond the door. Is something the matter, Shining Armor? What if it's a trap? He asked, looking over at Luna as he took a single step back from the doorway's edge. A trap? Shining nodded his head. I'm going into Nyx's mind, Seems like a great place for her to catch me and brainwash me. And I'd rather avoid getting brainwashed for a third time. Your concerns are understandable, but Nyx cannot do that while you are in a nightmare. She can only do that if she were to enter your dream. And I promise I will stand watch and assure you that she does not enter this place without your permission. But what if she... Shining armor, Luna interrupted curtly. Yes, your hiney. Enter Nyx's dream before I throw you in. Shining laughed and took a step towards Luna, assuming she was joking. He soon found himself being levitated off the ground by the princess's magic. A moment later, he was hurled through the open doorway, a panic shout escaping his lips as he soared through the air like an expertly tossed bag of leaves. He crashed into Nyx's dreamscape, the snow providing a soft landing and a cold, wet chill down Shining's spine. I thought you were joking! He shouted back at Luna as he climbed to his hooves and shook the snow from his coat and mane. He lit his horn, trying to see the darkness, but there was nothing around him to see. There was only the snow-covered ground and darkness in all directions. He took a few steps forward and then turned around to ask Luna if something was wrong. That was when he saw the tower. The doorway, which provided passage to his own dreamscape, was built into the base of a tall, white stone bell tower that stretched for several stories into the sky. It was massive, easily larger than the bell tower that played the carols at Canterlot Palace. Yet the tower and its bells were silent. But the dream itself was not silent. In place of music he expected to be hearing from the bells, there were angry shouts coming from the opposite side. It was a mob, a large mob of very angry ponies from the sounds of it. And there was one pony shouting above them all, though he could not make out the words just yet. Steeling himself in case this was the trap he feared, Shining Armor walked to the edge of the tower. He pressed himself against the stone, then slowly moved along the edge until he reached the first corner. He centered around it briefly, learning to use skills honed by sharp years of training in the guard. He then moved around the corner, and continued on, continuing to hug the wall as the shouts of the crowd grew louder. The one voice also grew louder. Nightmare Moon! Even with all the evidence presented, you still plead innocence. Don't you feel it's high time you confess what you've done? Isn't it time you brainwashed the ponies of Equestria, that in generations to come, they would give you the throne you seek? Is it time to admit you've brainwashed every pony to make them believe you are no threat?
No! I'm not brainwashing any pony! I'm not evil! I'm not Nightmare Moon anymore!
Then why do you still look like her? Shiny reached the second corner of the clock tower square shape and poked his head around the edge. He could now see what was going on. There was a crowd in front of the tower, an angry mob of ponies carrying torches. Most were faceless, odd shadows that he knew were ponies, yet lacking any defining features. There were some he recognized that were standing near the front. He saw his mother, father, and Cadence standing at the front, shouting up with the rest of the crowd. Their brows were furrowed, and their jaws were turned into hateful frowns. He'd never seen them like that before. But they were only ones. He saw Twilight's friends amongst the crowd, some of them accompanied by young fillies. The whole crowd had their gazes fixed upward. Standing before them was a gatehouse, without an accompanying wall or castle to defend. It was tall, made of dark stone, and from the battlements, a large wooden platform extended out where every pony could see it. Above that was a rope attached to a structure of thick wooden hangers. The platform was a hangmare's noose. On that platform were two ponies. One was Nightmare Moon. She was out without her armor, and it was around her neck that the hangmare's noose had been tightened. Her cutie mark was also different. In place of a moon with a purple background, Shining Armor instead saw a familiar blue shield. Yet, Shining Armor's blood ran cold in his veins when he saw the other pony with Nyx on the platform. It was a stallion of a strong soldier's build. It was a stallion with a white coat and blue mane. It was a stallion with a shield cutie mark that had a six-pointed star in its center, and three smaller stars above it. It was a stallion with a voice Shiny knew better than any other. It was a stallion he saw with a face he saw every time he looked in the mirror each morning. The stallion on the platform was Shining Armor's own doppelganger in Nyx's dreamscape. It was a terrible fact that compounded as Shiny's mind took in the scene. He was the one who stood guard over Nyx. He was the one calling out to the crowd below, only making their lust for blood grow stronger. He was the one that was toying with the rope around Nyx's neck, nudging her closer to the edge. In this nightmare, with the entire world turned against her, Nyx saw him as her executioner.